FPL lovers, welcome back to the shed. It's me, Livesey Lovesit. It's Friday night. Got less than 15 hours to go till the deadline. And I am about to reveal what I've been working on a little bit since my stream this afternoon with my team selection. But before we get to that, first off, let's go and have a look at stuff that's for everybody before we have a look at my plans. So I've put this out on Twitter. The plans are to go through the press conference summary, have a quick look at the fixtures. It's about the doubles, isn't it? Let's be honest. Transfer trends. Have a look and see who people are bringing in and who people are getting rid of. Points prediction, the elite ownership as per Premier Fantasy Tools. Aritravo's and Al's top 3 picks for game week 27. Evie's weekly differential punt, and it's a proper differential this week on a double game week, but nobody's talking about it. 1% owned. My transfer thoughts, and then question and answer. And I probably got half an hour or so until I get a message off my good lady wife, being Friday night and that. Now, this week I'm on the proper stuff. Proper bow. No Aldi's finest cider for me. What are you drinking? Aritravo, hello again, mate. I've had a rethink. You'll see in a little bit what my plans are. I've got 2 plans now. It's just about which one I go for. So maybe I'll run a cheeky little poll. So yeah, I'm on fire today, mate. I'm on fire. So, press conference summary. Here we go. Let's have a look then. So, still ruled out Gabriel Jesus. Might play Martin Odegaard in my team, so that one's important to me. Might play Eddie Nketiah. Okay, and I think those are... A lot of people got rid of Nketiah last week. Odegaard is like, whoa, are we going to get rid of him? Are we not? So, yeah, a couple there that are sort of interesting. Kieran Tierney still with a bit of illness. Might play, so that looks like Zinchenko gets the nod again. Who is playing better, isn't he? Let's be honest. Aston Villa, Coutinho, ruled out. Still Kamara. Might play Carlos Leander Dendoncker. Bournemouth, is anybody going there? Let's not waste our time. Brentford, so ruled out. Only players, so these are important. Keane Lewis Potter. Not that I think anybody's going there at this moment in time, but he could be a player. He looked good when he was in the Championship. I think he did anyway. And Thomas Strakosha. Okay, we'll move on. Brighton, okay. These are our 2 double game week teams that people are targeting anyway. Adam Lallana, ruled out. Jakob Muder. Might play Levi Colwill, Tariq Lamptey, and Yassin Ayari. And available, and I know he's in a lot of teams, is Solly March. So, Solly March and Levi Colwill are in the squad list. Tariq Lamptey, not quite so sure. Now, the most interesting comments, though, I'm finding from Robert De Zerbi are these ones here. And it says, one of the best relationships I have in the dressing room is with Robert Sanchez. But I have to do my work, and in this moment, I prefer Jason Steele. But only for our style of play. He's playing well, very well. Robert too, but in this moment, I think Jason can play better. Now, if that ain't a guaranteed start for Jason Steele this weekend, then he is like Pep Guardiola, like Mark II, without a doubt. And he's throwing us on a curveball, a massive one. But no, I fully expect Steele to be playing this week. Chelsea ruled out again. Through illness, Reece James. The troll keeps on trolling. Glad I didn't go there. But also ruled out Azpilicueta, so I'm not sure he's going to play it right back. They're a bit short in defence here with Thiago Silva out as well. Mendy's still ruled out, so Kepa keeps his spot. Might play Raheem Sterling, got a goal midweek. Might play Pierre, it's not happening. And available Christian Pulisic. Raheem Sterling had a little feeling in his hamstring. Mason Mount needs a bit more time. Reece James, he's a fantastic player if only he could get on the pitch. He would be in every Premier League, every FPL team alongside Trippier if he was playing week in, week out, wouldn't he, mate? Simple as. Crystal Palace, check Decore suspended. Sam Johnson, I don't think that's anybody's bag this week. Everton, Big Dom might be back. He's training. I think Dyche is making him earn his position, you know. I think he's been put on a bit of a pedestal by the last couple of managers. Certainly Frank Lampard held him up there. And sort of mollycoddled him a bit, but I think he's been given a bit of Sean Dyche medicine, shall we say? And I'm expecting a different Dominic Calvert. Basically, he ain't going to play until he's fully match fit, and he's changed his stats so that he's been digging right deep. What does it say about Big Dom? Because he could be somebody in the coming weeks, certainly as we look to stay in the Premier League. Could be somebody that we possibly consider. Dom maybe wants looking to offload Tony after these 5 weeks, if that's what you're looking to do. Dom is in and around it again with his training. We're still making the decision on him being truly right to come back in. On this weekend, it's earlier. He's just got on the grass with us, but he's done a lot of rehab. The stats and facts and the way he's feeling is good. It's positive signs, that's for sure. That's good to know as an Evertonian, first and foremost. But secondly, it could be somebody for the run-in, sort of maybe game week 32 onwards once he's hit full fitness. Ruled out quite big for Fulham. Arsenal playing Fulham this weekend. Palhinha still out, suspended, which is a massive loss for Fulham. We had Big Nose Monkey on before, Fulham fan, and he was saying just that. Fulham not the same without him. Leeds United might play. Patrick Bamford might play. Rodrigo, so he's looking like he's on his way back. Sinistera, Liam Cooper. I don't think anybody's going Leeds at this moment in time. Certainly not with the doubles. Leicester. Interestingly, we've got comments here about Maddison, who is on my watch list. Somebody I'm looking forward to bringing into the team possibly in the near future. He's managing an issue which still allows him to perform. So he's got an issue against Southampton. Now, obviously, these are biased comments because it's his manager. He was outstanding. He did look good, actually, to be fair. He showed that quality that's needed in a game. He's available to play and contribute for us. So we can play. He's hopeful Harvey Barnes is going to make it, and they won't know till tomorrow. Now, Liverpool, everybody abandoned them, apart from my mate, Aritravo Audi. And I kept hold of my one Liverpool player, Salah. Might play Arthur Mello, Naby and Ketia. Not on anybody's team there, really. Manchester City, available, Phil Foden. Apparently he's okay, yeah. Pep Guardiola on Phil Foden. That's a quote of the week, isn't it? Ruled out for Manchester United. Their injury list gets smaller. Their midfield's looking stronger. They're still missing Eriksen, who was an integral part of that team. But it seems, apart from the game last week, and let's be honest, they probably went into that feeling, you know, like the Kings after winning the Cup the week before. Eye off the ball a little bit. Liverpool were focused. I did say on the stream, not last week, because I wasn't able to do one last week, but I did say the week before I thought Liverpool could get a result against Man United. So yeah, and they did. Didn't they just? I wasn't expecting that, though, to be honest with you. Hence why I didn't get rid of Salah and rolled my transfer last week, because I thought he could do something, and he's got a history against United. How does he do against Bournemouth away this week? That's the question. It's a big question for me, because my alternate draft, I'm dumping him. I know. I think I am anyway. We'll go and have a look in a minute. Newcastle United, are they going to hit some form again soon? Have they had their bad patch and they're going to hit it? Or was the first half of the season a good start but not able to keep that going? I think they've hit their bad patch, and in the next couple of game weeks they'll start to hit a bit of form again on the run-in. Fabian Schär, he's been training well this week. Forest might play, to be honest, I'm not even going to go. Forest, there's so many players there, it don't matter. But still ruled out is Dean Henderson. So if you are going Navas and you fancy him in goal for you, he's on my watch list, then maybe he might be somebody you might want to go for. Budget goalkeeper at some point soon. Southampton. Sorry, Southampton fans. Tottenham Hotspur. Perisic might play. Okay, so Richarlison, after his comments midweek, may well be rested this week. Yeah, they were definitely due a hammering, mate. Fair play. And it gave me a rank boost of about 400,000. So yeah, I don't celebrate Liverpool wins. I can't do that, but I celebrated my personal choice to keep Salah in my team. Let's put it that way. Emerson Royale. I don't think anybody's going Spurs defence at this minute in time, are they? West Ham still ruled out Lucas Fabianski. They're in a bad way, West Ham, aren't they? They're in a bad way. I mean, they've got Lucas Paqueta, who might play, who I think could well be possibly their best player. When he was looking their best player before he got injured, let's say. And then down to Wolves, Hugo Bueno, still ruled out, but for those of us who've got him and thinking maybe holding on for the next couple of game weeks, it is a possibility he's back sooner rather than later. Sorry, Southampton hell, mate. What am I supposed to say? I can't recommend anybody from there, and it's a waste of all our time, isn't it, mate? Oh God, I do apologise. Probably say the same about Everton. Yeah, all written by Mark de Carvalho, FPL Popper. Many thanks to you, Premier Fantasy Tool, used earlier in the video. Let's have a look. Best fixtures. We're going to do this quickly, like I say. Friday night. Mrs. is waiting. Give us a shout, love, if you're watching. If not, I can talk about you. Only joking, loves you. Right, in offence, next 6 game weeks. Best teams for offence. In fact, I think we should go for the next 3 game weeks, because I think that's pretty much what most people are interested in right here, right now. So, interestingly, attacking wise, for the next 3 game weeks, we've got Arsenal at the top, not on double game week. Tottenham coming second with 3 fixtures there. That's interesting. Leicester, then Leeds, Brentford, Newcastle, Chelsea, West Brighton. 11th because they got the blank. 2 away games. Not totally convinced by that, but you have to make from this what you want. This is yeah, we're going to have a look at another fixture difficulty in a minute. Back in 10 minutes, see in a bit. Aritravo, Deadly Mountain. Good morning, Deadly Mantis. Let me get your full word name out, mate. Good morning from New Zealand. Good evening. I live in England now. Good evening from England. Good evening from the Wirral. Good evening from Merseyside. Your wild card in this week, it's you and lots of others, mate. You and lots of others. Aritravo's wild carding as well. Have you gone all out on the Brighton and Brentford, 3 of each? That's what I've been seeing in the wild cards this week. I'm a bit nervous about it for people, about what you do after it, but maybe it is the optimal play. Maybe it is. It's not for me, though. I'm saving it for the run-in from about, I don't know, 32. Anytime from 32 onwards, when we know which teams have got something to fight for. In terms of defence, for the next 3 game weeks, that's City down the bottom. Wow, because they've got a blank and then they've got Liverpool at home. At the top, Newcastle, Wolves, Forest, and the West Ham, Man United. They've got the double. Arsenal, good. I'm double Arsenal defence at the minute. Tottenham, Chelsea, Leeds. That'll be the double at the back end here. Surely. Leicester, Brentford. Okay, that's a bit of fixture analysis. Like I say, we've done this already today and looked at it in a bit more detail in the team selection stream. It was about an hour and a half long. I got well into it. Lots of team tinkering going on in there, back and forth. Lots of conversation. You're a Brummie in New Zealand, all the way from Birmingham. So were you a Aston Villa or Birmingham City fan, Deadly? Or none of those, of course. I was going to try and do a Brummie accent then, but I just can't do it, mate. I'm laughing to myself on the inside. I've done one for ages. Right, anyway, so fixture difficulty. What be next on the list? Oh, 2 notifications. Is there anybody sending me a message? Aritravo liking and retweeting my stuff. Thank you very much. If you're watching and you see this, do feel free to help try and promote the channel. More people we get involved, the better conversations we can have. Let me go back. So, transfer trends. Okay, so a couple of exciting things here to show you. So first off, let's go and have a look and see what is happening on the main website. But then I'm going to show you, if you've not seen it before, FPL team who have a basically like these. Here's some drafts. I'll show you my draft here now. That's my draft, like a draft that I've been sort of working on. But what they do is they save everybody draft and then they share the transfers coming up that people are planning for the weeks ahead. So I think that's something worth having a good look at, because you don't get to see that information generally. I really like that. But what did I say I was going to look at? Oh God, transfer trends. So back to this one. So top transfers in this week. No surprise to see Matoma, Tony, Estupinian, McAllister and me at the top of the list. Lots of people wild carding and lots of people going big on the double game weekers. Salah back in business, 28% owned. And here's me looking to sell him. And then March, Raya. So they are absolutely dominating the transfers in this game week. Absolutely, with Salah sneaking in the middle there, just above March. And then people bringing back in Gakpo, Darwin. Suppose they have a double game week in 29, don't they, Liverpool? And then Martinelli, Veltman and Buemo. Foden. That's a risky one, isn't it? Tony in 36.9% of teams now. Salah in 28% of teams. Matoma, not much of my differential anymore, is he? 20% of teams. 612,000 people have brought him into their team. So still, 11 million teams, you're still looking at what? Only in 5% of the teams playing, roughly between 5 and 6% of the teams playing or have brought him in. So not as many as you'd think, to be honest with you, but the game week's not over as yet. So those are the ones people are bringing in. Who's getting binned off? Transfers out. Biggest bin off, Mahrez, Odegaard. Risky, 35.6. And Nketiah, De Bruyne, still in 27.2% of teams. Almiron, Shah, Kane. Are people really abandoning Harry Kane against Nottingham Forest? The Spurs haven't looked great, but it looks like Conte's back. Done the press conference for himself. And he was talking about his team being a bit too soft, so after Richarlison, so I'm expecting a bit of a response to that. He's a captaincy option for me. I've got no idea where the captaincy's going at this minute in time, to be honest with you. Andreas, people still bring this is obviously wild card stuff. Mitrovic, sure, that's an interesting one. He's got a blank next game week, but they have got Southampton this week. Don't forget to like the videos, boys and girls. 1 like so far. See if I can get a couple more than that. That'd be lovely. Tarkovsky, people still got the belief there, bringing him in. Watkins, Haaland, people transferring Haaland back in. Fernandez. Okay, so those are the biggest transfers in. Let's go and have a look on FPL team. Okay, link for this. This is a new site that I've started using recently. It's in the description below in my FPL toolkit. So, as we can see, ownership changes in the last hour. Tony's increased. Henry's increased. See, I like this in the last hour. 0.2%, so he's growing and growing. Henry's increased. Pinnock's increased. Mia's increased. March is increasing. Interesting. Look at that. Tarkovsky's falling. The wild cards are kicking off, aren't they? Big time. Top transfers at the moment: Nketiah to Tony, Ward to Raya, Andreas to Mitoma. This is all based on saved drafts, by the way, so it's only the people who are saving their drafts on this website. Andreas to Mitoma, and obviously you can have more than one draft, so bear that in mind. Tarkovsky to Estupinian. Again, all dominated by the Brighton and Brentford. Top players in, based on save drafts, Brighton and Brentford. Top players out. Odegaard's in there as well. Haaland. Lots of people abandoning Haaland. I was chatting to Al the other day, and he's getting rid of Haaland, to be honest with you. Deadly Mantis. Think I'm going to wildcard 3 hit, then bench boost the next 3 game weeks. Then try to navigate the rest of the season with transfers alone. Gambling from here on in. We're gambling every week, aren't we, mate? Have you hit the wildcard button yet? And what I will say is, if you haven't looked to see how it affects your team in the next few weeks, so a site like this is just as good as any. Many more available. I think Aritravo uses FPL plan, which I've not seen, but he sent me a screenshot of his wildcard team earlier. Is have a look and just see how it is going to affect you, because it's quite easy to think you haven't got many players, but actually a little bit of smart moves can help that. So these are the biggest transfers in the next few weeks. 28, Haaland to Watkins, Salah to Maddison, March to Maddison, so Maddison's creeping up here. Week 29, Odegaard to Fernandes and Shaw, so United have got a double that week, haven't they? But people are saying they're going to get rid of the Arsenal players who in week 29, I'm just trying to remember who they've got. I don't think it's that tough a fixture, to be honest with you. Gabriel, so they're being abandoned. Week 30, Tony, Kane and Watkins out for Haaland. So people thinking, right, time to bring him back in. Week 30. I mean, I'm not letting him go. Yeah, he used this site. Okay, deadly nice one, mate. It's good, isn't it? It's a fairly new one to me, to be honest. Maddison, Saka, Watkins to Wilson. So yeah, so that I think is quite a nice sort of looking tool. What people are thinking. People going in on Liverpool in game week 32. Salah, Darwin, Alexander-Arnold. Taking out Shaw and taking out the Man United players. People taking out Haaland again. But bringing him back in. Week 33, going for Liverpool players as well. Now, I think they've got a blank, haven't they? Or more than likely blank in week 32. United, City. So this will be why, I would imagine. Okay, right. Points prediction, very quickly. For this game week, Tony tops it, 11.8, quite far ahead, to be honest. 9.9 for Kane, March, McAllister, Mitoma. All very close. 9.3, 9.4, 9.6. Basically, it's a flip of a coin, I think. If you're going to ask me, I'd say Mitoma, McAllister. It's at a higher XG, more shots on target than March. So yeah, that would be my choice there. And Buemo. See, I get there's a double game week. I get it's a double game week, but I do believe, and please tell me what you think here. Double game week players, they don't just stay in your team for 1 week unless it's a free hit. You've got to think about the weeks after. And I know they've got another double, but 2 away fixtures from Buemo. I'm not massively confident. I've got to be honest for Brentford, but there we go. I've voiced that this afternoon, and then Salah much further down, away to Bournemouth. Liverpool don't have a great away record. They don't. And they've turned it on a couple of times. And this is why I said, and forgive me, Aritravo, because I know you're a big Liverpool fan, but for me, and correct me, please do, correct me if you think I'm wrong here, because that's what I want to do, discuss these things. Liverpool have been turning it on at home against teams who they've got a rivalry with, or it's a big game for them. So Everton went there on the up, just beat Arsenal. That got Liverpool fans ready for the game. And the fans are a massive thing in these games. Certainly in the Premier League, you get the fans behind you, and it's a whole different ball game. And then United come in just after winning the Cup. Liverpool fans ain't wanting to be upstaged by either of those two teams. Certainly more vociferous in those games. And that's fed through to the team. And I think the team have upped their game as well against these teams. Sanchez in goal. I mean, I don't think he should be there. I'd replace that with Steele for me. I think Steele's got a better chance of bonus, to be honest with you, than Rashford and Veltman. So, yeah, that's for this one game week. For the next few game weeks, Kane tops the list. I'm seeing people get rid of Kane just baffles me, to be honest with you. Forest, Southampton, Everton, Brighton, Bournemouth. Some fantastic fixtures there for him. Tony, Rashford, Maddison, just talking about him. I don't think up against Chelsea's the one. But certainly game week 29 could be the week to bring him in. Iheanacho looking really good. Aritravo commenting on that in their last game. Can't remember who it was against now. Was it West Ham? And then I'm not interested in João Felix, I'm afraid. Watkins and Trippier, he's due to get back on form. I had a look at his stats in the last few weeks. He's still putting in his expected assists are still they're either highest or second highest in the league in the last sort of 6 weeks or so. So he is still performing. It's the others at the top end, and their goals will come. Keep putting the ball in the box. Eventually, the goals are going to come. So there's some captaincy choices for you people. Some transfer choices over the next few weeks. Just load a couple more down here. Fernandez is in there. That's why I'm loath to get rid of him, to be honest with you. Wilson, McAllister, Matoma. I mean, Fernandez, even with the blank game week, is predicted, and the double for McAllister and Matoma is predicted to get more points than those. So you've got to look at the long term a little bit, I think, as well. Right, predicted points. Thank you very much. Won't be next. Elite ownership. Okay, so who did the top 20 career managers according to Premier Fantasy Tools? Where are we? Research. Having their teams last week, and remember, a lot of people went with the wild cards last week, and there's a few interesting players in here. And see, lots of people got Kepa and Raya, so doubles up by the look of it. A lot of people for the next couple of weeks. Trippier, people still sticking with him. I did run a poll earlier whether it's a hold or sell. It was 85% people saying hold. Henry, 85%. Brentford, Estupinian, Brighton, Botman, Newcastle. So still the double Newcastle defence for the top 20 career managers. This was last week, remember, go for last game week. And Gabriel in those teams as well. In midfield, Saka is in 100% of teams. Rashford is in 100% of teams. March is in 90%, was in 90%, and Matoma in 75%. But the pig sick, they didn't go for McAllister last week. And Odegaard still in 60% of those teams. We're obviously looking to see some difference. And the forward line, quite tellingly, Tony, Haaland and Kane, 100% of the teams last week. So out of those 20 teams, every single one of them had those three as their forward line. So I find that very interesting. Differentials with less than 10% overall ownership. Kepa in 95% of the teams. That's crazy. March in 90% of the teams. Henry in 3.7% of in 85% of their teams, compared to 3.7 overall. Botman in 60% compared to 5.5, and then McAllister creeps in at 20%, 5.1% overall, and he's had those 20% who do own him had a great week. Top 25% most owned: Saka, Tony, Haaland, Rashford, Kane, all in 100% of those teams. 2, 4, 5. Obviously, some of them could be wild carding and will have made transfers this week. Kepa, Trippier. You can see the makeup, like the template here, can't you? Raya, Henry, Estupinian. That's your template, really. And Matoma. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. With the two goalkeepers. That's your template. for the yeah, those top teams. Tips usage, they've all used their second wildcard apart from one. So I'm imagining they've done it last week. Evening, Brian. Welcome to the stream, sir. Thumbs up to you too. No one's used their free hit last week, and no one used their bench boost, but 95% of those teams wildcard. So they're setting up last week for this game week. So I find that very interesting. Remember, top 20 career managers. Written by Mark Cadvalio. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, Aritravo's and Al's top 3 picks for game week 27. Now, unfortunately, I've not had time to put these into a lovely slide, but I have got the information here. I've spoken to both of them. They both messaged me. So, top 3 game weeks. Unsurprisingly, both of them have gone and chosen Brighton and Brentford players. So, Aritravo has gone for Estupinian in defence. These are, by the way, if you've not seen this feature previously, these are players that they think is going to be the top scoring player for each position, defence, midfield and forward. So, Estupinian for defence, McAllister in midfield for Aritravo, and then Ivan Toney up front. And for Al, in defence, he's gone for a Brentford defender. He's gone for Ben Mee over Estupinian. He's gone for Mitoma as opposed to McAllister. But identically, he's gone for Ivan. Ivan 9 out of 2. 9 and 2, whatever. However you say it. He's put odds in the middle of his name, basically. 9 to 2. That's it. Ivan 9 to 2. Tony. I don't do gambling. His reasoning being basically pretty simple, really. They're all on a double. Yeah, so there we go. So that is the top 3 picks for both of those, and both of those have the highest ranking, or have up to last week, have the highest ranking all-time rank in our league, as according to Premier Fantasy Tools. Lovely. Okay, let's move on to Evie's weekly differential punt, and I told you about this at the beginning of the stream. Less than 1% owned. Where are we? Evie. Oh, we've had a couple of messages since. Okay, his punt is Danny Welbeck. 1%. He said, I haven't checked this tomorrow, but 1% owned. And he's got 2 double game weeks in quick succession for Brighton, as we know. A blank in between to sit on the bench, so be a bench player in between. But in those 2 weeks, he scored in the last game, but he's saying this is a real punt. This one, as he's not guaranteed to start. Evie loves a punt, okay? Recent punts have been Gakpo the week before he scored, but if he was still in your team, he would have returned there. Who was it last? Can't even think who it was last week. Sorry, Evie. If you're watching, do let us know. Considering -4 to bring in McAllister for Odegaard from Brian Morrissey. Now, Odegaard, they're playing Fulham. They're playing next week when Brighton aren't. I don't know if it's worth a -4. Just my thoughts. What does anybody else think who's watching the stream? Would you take a -4 to bring in McAllister for Odegaard? I mean, his expected goal data looks really good. And to be honest with you, for me, I've got Mitoma top of the list for me. And right now, if I was going to have to choose between McAllister and March, it would be McAllister. So yeah, let us know what you do, mate. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one, that. I'm debating bringing him in for Salah against Bournemouth away. So maybe it is the right move, mate. Maybe it is the right move. Right, let's go and have a look at my teams. He's ill, Odegaard, so he's worrying me. Yeah, he is, mate. I think he'll be back, though. I think he'll be back. What I was looking at before, for tomorrow. Any Arsenal fans, anybody's got any extra information on that, then please do share. Look at the injury thing here. Premier League injuries. It's just got really warm in here. Going to get a late fitness test. Throat infection. I did bring up an article before and researched. I think it's... I mean, I don't think we're going to get any more news between now and then. I think that's the thing. What would you... Anybody else? What would you do? Odegaard? Would you do Odegaard to McAllister for a -4 this game week? Help Brian out. Let me show you what I've got planned then. So, plans, because I put an extra plan together. Because I come off my stream and I started to worry a bit about these these double game weeks. Plan. Why have I got to enter my team ID again? Oh God, what is it? 1-1. Is it not just here? No. Is that what that does? 1-1, 5, 1, 8, 7, 7. Is that it? Is that me? Sure is. Go Livesey. Right. Drafts. So this is the draft I looked at before, whereby this game week I bring in Steele for Everson with my 0.1 million, and I have a double game week play Brighton defender, if you like, goalkeeper in goal for me. One transfer, and I rolled a transfer till next game week. This is what we did on the stream before. This is where I sort of got to, because to be honest, I don't want to sell Salah this game week. I really don't want to sell Fernandes. He looked back to his best midweek after the blip of last week. Could have had more assists last week, and they've got Southampton at home. So, excuse me, I fully expect them to get an absolute tonk in this game week. And Fernandes to be part of that. Part of me wants to bring in Luke Shaw, I've got to be honest. But there we go. Can't do everything. Can't do everything. Right, so yeah, so that was my one transfer. Go on towards, basically I've gone as far as game week 29 to have a look and see what's happening. And then I make 2 transfers in the following game week. And bringing them in later is Tony, ready for the double game week in 29. And who've I brought in? Maddison. Up against Brentford as their fixtures look to improve as well. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Bournemouth. And as we've seen in the stream earlier, Brendan Rodgers loves the ground he works on. And that would give me, without having to take a free hit or anything like that, captaincy wouldn't be on Tarkowski. It would be on probably, I would imagine, just looking at that now, probably Harry Kane. That'll probably increase my points slightly, predicted points, although it is only at 50. And then, let me just update the draft there. And then if I go have a look at game week 29, that gives me this team here. One transfer is to bring in Estupinian. It's not a guaranteed one. It was just there. It could be an other with a bench boost to play for that game week, and that gives me a good looking bench, full hit, done, ready for the running. Basically, I want to get my bench boost out of the way, because I find sometimes I spend ages trying to strengthen my team for the bench boost, and it takes weeks and weeks, and then players get injured, and I chase the bench boost for a long time. Update draft, didn't update that before. Captaincy would probably be on Rashford that week, make captain. Okay, so that is the draft I was sort of like looking at before. Okay, let's go and have a look at draft number 2 for the next 3 game weeks. Obviously, this can change as we go, but it's nice to have an idea, particularly where these blank and doubles are around. I would like to know in the comments, should I go with draft 1 or draft 2? This is draft 2. So game week 27. 2 transfers, using both my transfers. And yes, I've gone for Tony. And yes, I've gone for McAllister. I've sacked off Mo Salah. Okay. Is that a bad choice? Not so sure, to be honest with you. He's had his massive haul last week. Take the points and run. So this is my second draft. And here he's giving me predicted points of 89. Let's total them up as we go along, actually. So 89 for that game week. Then if I go into the following game week in 28, I have basically got 2 blank players there. But I've got 9 players as long as Bueno is back. And it looks like he could be from the comments that I've read. That gives me 9 players for the blank game week. And to be honest, looking at the fixtures, I was thinking of taking the free hit this week at one point. But the fixtures there, which fixtures are we targeting? Arsenal, I'm already tripled up. Villa, Bournemouth, not sure. Chelsea maybe. A target against Everton at home. We're not so good on the road. But who are we targeting from Chelsea? There's no consistent standout there. Evening, Pav. How you doing, sir? Welcome to the stream. Saw talk of Leeds v Brighton potentially postponed if the weather goes worse. I don't think it's going to, mate. The snow here, like literally it was this deep. It was sort of, what, 10 centimetres? Just over 3 inches in old money. This morning, gone by this afternoon. Literally, I'm driving the kids to school. Everyone's building snowmans, snowball fights, come home, sun shining by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I don't think that there's going to be that many games called off. I mean, it's a different part of the country. It's Merseyside, I suppose. But we'll see. We'll see. It's a man's game, isn't it? Sean Dyche had the Everton players out training in the snow. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's going to make men of them. Proper men, hopefully. But yeah, maybe Spurs away. But there's not that many fixtures to target during next week. So I'm quite happy with that. 9 players. Try and ride it through. Hold me position almost, if you like. Not expecting anybody else. City aren't playing. United aren't playing. Brighton aren't playing. So that's what that does. And then it takes me into the following game week, which I've got a predicted points of 130. That's just mental. For a bench boost. But even without the bench boost, it's predicted at 106. It's a double game week. Lots of double game week players. And my transfer that week, 2 transfers would be Bueno to Shaw, which is quite a nice transfer to make, let's be honest. And this is where the Salah money comes into play. I've still got 2.3 million in the bank, so I could do something completely different. And then I've just basically, I've put Ward in versus instead of Everson, because why waste money in goal? I was thinking maybe I should go for, I don't know, somebody else, but I'm already tripled up on Arsenal. I'll already be tripled up on Man United. You look at the fixtures for the week, certainly the second fixtures anyway. Chelsea are up against Liverpool. United, I'm already tripled up. United's got Newcastle in the week before it. Arsenal are playing Leeds. So they're one, but just for the one game week. I'm already tripled up on them. Not going with Palace. Brighton versus Brentford. That's going to be a horrible week for everybody, isn't it? In game week 29. Everyone's owning them. They're playing each other. Chilwell is ready to explode, I reckon. Mate, I actually think you might be right. I think you might be right. He's just got to stay in the team a bit for me first. So yeah, those are my two drafts. Those are my two considerations. As you can see, it leaves me with, you know, I'm not desperate for money either way, because this one I'm selling Salah. I'm left with 3.8 million in the bank. What's the points? 89 and 48. So 137. Let's put the bench boost back on. $137, so 267 for draft number 2 is the predicted points. And for draft number 1, 71, 121, 221, 243. So predicted points, 24 more for draft 2. Brian's jumping in. Draft 2. Draft 2. Sell Salah for McAllister. How did Liverpool and Arsenal get on earlier in the season? How did Salah get on against them? Where is he? He was just here a second ago, wasn't he? How did he get on against Bournemouth in the reverse time? 9-0, of course. A couple of massive ones, haven't they? At home. A Bournemouth just going to shut up shop. Park the bus after that. Although we only got 3 points. The anomaly, my God, I remember now. I do remember. You're keeping Salah, but of the 2, that's my pick. Fair dues, mate. Fair dues. I just think it gives me that little bit extra, a little bit of protection against the captaincy of Tony this game week. And it feels a little bit more attacking, not so conservative. The only thing I need to worry about, if I want to go for draft 1, is steel going to rise in price this evening. So I shall check my favourite site, Fantasy Football Fix, for checking out is it Livesey Lovesit on this one? No, I don't think it is. There you go, Livesey 9, that's it. Feel free to email me. I'm not showing me password. Whoa, that was close. Is steel going to rise in price tonight? Let's see who's looks like they could be. Thank you to those that have liked my video. Elvis, who to bring on for Odegaard? McAllister, I think Mitoma, if you haven't got either of those. March, if that's what you want to do. Lots of people getting rid of Odegaard. Should we have a look and see if there's any sort of like latest news on those? Let me just bring up, I don't want the elite team reveal. Let me have a look at the price changes here, and I'm just going to see if there's any more Odegaard news, because there's 2 of you on site. Mind you, I've got Odegaard in my team, so things could change. Right, players going up tonight. McAllister. Progress per hour. Martinelli, Gakpo, Van Dijk. He's the biggest signings are here. He's going up tonight. McAllister, Martinelli. Right, let me type in. Steele. Nah, he's not going up at all. Let me just double check. Everson could be getting abandoned in 3.8, and he's not looking like going down. Either's already at 3.8, so yeah, not a worry for me. So it will be a transfer decision I make in the morning. Maddison over Salah crossed my mind, actually. My only worry is his injury at the minute, and I don't think Salah versus Bournemouth is good for health. You're happy with 9 players next game week? Yeah, me too, mate. It's just whether I sell Salah for him. Maybe I go and have another tinker and see for Odegaard, but It's just that he's got a game next game week. That's all. I do think I now, now I've done this one here, I do think this is the one I would go for. I mean, look, I've gone from 71 to 89 for this game week. And the other game weeks, whilst they're there with a little sort of plan, anything can happen. Anything, injuries and things change very quickly. So I've got a better, this seems like a better plan for the short term and I won't say the long term, but the medium term, as in the next 3 weeks. And let's be honest, not a bad first. The only thing I don't like doing is leaving Odegaard on the bench, but he is a doubt, so it's not the end of the world. I think that could be what I do tomorrow, but I will be streaming in the morning as well. So if you're not sure, if you want to join me in the morning, I'm going to get down, do a bit of a cheeky early breakfast stream. I'll make my decisions then about what I'm going to do. I'm currently leaning towards draft 2, I've got to be honest. But maybe, you never know, I might have another tinker later on. Maybe something happens. Maybe I can take Odegaard out. I just can't afford to bring Tony in if I do, which is part of my reasoning for basically having McAllister and Tony over Odegaard and Salah. Seems mental that, but there we go. Maybe not, maybe not. Right, guys, thank you very much. Have a, let's see if there's any more messages here. Got to go. Have a great game week, everybody. Thanks very much, Brian. Cheers for joining me, mate. Great game week for you too, look, mate, my friend. Aritravo, all of these price change predictors have been mostly wrong this season, haven't they? To be honest, mate, I haven't followed price changes much in the last, certainly since the World Cup. I think the World Cup, I think I changed the way I play during the World Cup, and I can't really put my finger on what it was. But I think the World Cup fantasy football did me the world of good, just playing a different game and looking at things slightly differently. Have FPL changed the price change requirements, etc.? Possibly, mate. There's I think they just do what they want to do, to be honest with you. I do. I think they just like to light it up, and I think it's more geared around interest. What's getting clicks and people doing different things possibly as well, a little bit more as well. Obviously, a little bit of the sales is key to it all, but yeah, I've stopped worrying about it. I think top of our league currently, team value. I might be wrong. Let's have a quick look. I think he's right, almost like 100 million still, top of our league. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe I'm making that up. Maybe it's somebody else. Team value, is it down the bottom? Oh no, the squad value's at 100.8. 27. Was it Ranil? Am I going mad? No. So, right, that is it from me, guys. Any more questions and answers? No, there isn't. Lovely. Thank you very much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, Saturday morning, if that's where you're at, over in New Zealand. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks very much. Take care. See you all later. Bye-bye.